Okay, hello. As everyone comes in, welcome. Thank you all so much for joining today. This is our 96th poetry reading, which is pretty crazy. It's our 600 somethingth New Social Environment series. I'm Carolyn, a programs associate here at the Rail, kind of filling in for Anselm today. And I'm just really floored to have all these incredible readers here with us, curated by Rachelle Rahmé. Thank you all so much for joining. Before we get started, the Brooklyn Rail acknowledges Black Lives Matter. Here in New York, we are on Lenape-Hoking, the unceded land and waters of the Wappinger, Canarsie, Munsee, and Lenni Lenape people of the Delaware Nation and Shinnecock Indian Nation. We recognize land acknowledgements are not replacement for actual decolonial work, but a reminder of place, of the legacies of dispossession and enslavement that sustained and enriched the stolen land we're speaking from. These readings will be recorded. We'll post links to access all of that in a bit. And I'm really honored to introduce our first poet today, Will Farris. We're really excited to have you here. Visual artist and poet Will Farris was the inaugural 2019 recipient of the Brannan Prize at the Poetry Project, judged by Lisa Jarnot. They've also been published in Blushlit. Will lives in New York City. In an untitled poem, they write, "When I was young, I might have been a flower, might have thought bodies were bells we shape to hold more bodies, not meat melting over screwy bones." And I'll let them take it from there. Thanks so much again.
Thanks, Carolyn. You'll be thrilled to hear I'll be reading that poem, so I can finish that whole thought for you. And thanks, Rochelle, for curating this reading. Thanks to everyone else at the Brooklyn Rail. Thanks to all the other readers. Yeah, I'm really thrilled to be here. I'll read several poems, but they're all very brief, so don't despair. We'll get through them quickly. And they're all, I don't find explaining poems especially joyful, but I will say that they're just like all like sort of in the same world. So we're gonna talk about light a lot together, and then I'll be done. Another poem. Concerning light, concerning what light means to me. Heaven, I imagine, is a room we move through, thinking heaven is a room I'm in. It's spring, and there is light, reflecting fistfuls of it. Spring. I'm hearing voices. Something clicks its way along the face, and body is big today, domey. Room so full of light like new tulips. In spring, the body moves before me. Untitled. Violets soft beneath my hands. I want to be some velvet thing. When I was young, I might have been a flower, might have thought bodies were bells we shape to hold more bodies, not meat melting over screwy bones. Some people are flowers we rend and want. Trace. How days fold over and you are happy to see or tell me anything. Leaning into spaces between want and not wanting. Still, I feel easy kitchen dancing in this apartment, looking at you and not the lens. And later, before I leave, an afternoon cleaves an orange across the wall. You call me in to see some light like it's the only. Awake. I live here. Took 3 months to know I was ordinary. Came last night, we sat on train and God, I was just an ordinary egg. Room has edges to it somewhere. Constant shock to see it move against present will. Still surely someone sees you, girl, and this is all the zipper. Body. Drooped in August light, thought light would break me open, but blossoms. Birds splice air into air. That petal through streetlight looks like buttermilk. Orlando. Left town to collect lac and found light in California is blue at both ends, some bright weight between. Led by wrist into warm, I'm told this is light you can hold in your hand. I wanted to talk about endings, then sun. You were so kind. It's good and big being here. Did I tell you? I feel like smiling some days. It can't be helped. Temperance. I don't think I'll die this year. Just turned 30, dumb in face of sun, but bathed in it and noticed how that's me, that's breath, that's breathing body, not death, not debt, not death somehow. And there's just a few more. And the only thing I'll say about the remaining ones is that I call them my duets, and all of them except for one are like split into two very short parts. So I'll just call out each part. Yeah. MW duet. I know there is no future here, but still I swear I'd spin on that kid's whirligig for some forever or utopia. Our gay faces grow sick with the condition of spring, life like a room until light, bright pools of it. Herco duet. 1. I understood my life meant nothing, still it spilled in every corner, light, a siphon, futuring this lake. 2. There's nothing grand about a jeté, nor a body out a window, the body literal, a ray. Untitled duet, and it's after Perfect Lovers by Felix Gonzalez Torres from 1991. 1. I understood my time here wasn't real, but I was with it, body boring, head first into light. I'm here, I came exactly right. 2. You slept so well beside me, swore I heard time crack its real imaginary back. Black painting duet. 1. In the end, Rothko and Goya were both concerned with human terror. Making 14 pieces each, they died, demanding that their paintings be displayed in constant daylight. 2. Listen to me. Life is never really ending. I was never really here. And then this is my last poem. Thanks everyone again. Virasana duet. 1. I admit I believe in anti-futurity, but what do I do with the nothing? Where do I put the body? What do I do with these hands? 2. Fear of death presupposes meaning. There is white light streaming from throne of face. Thank you.
Thank you, Will, so much. Really incredible. Be sure to check the chat as we're going through. We're posting links to people's work, and yeah, thank you. I'm really honored to introduce Anne Waldman next, who probably needs no introduction. I'm going to read my favorite part of her bio. Is that she was arrested at Rocky Flats with Daniel Ellsberg and Allen Ginsberg in the 1970s, reading poems that challenged deliveries of plutonium for the manufacturing of pits for nuclear warheads. She was part of protests during the Vietnam War and at the Chicago 7 trial, and all the current doings of countercultural intervention in subsequent times, Occupy, and right now, endless protest. With that, I'll turn it over to you, Anne. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and thank you for this wonderful invitation, Rochelle, and great to see some friends out there, Chris and Jeff, and all these activists in the room. Okay, I'm just going to grab a few random things. This is sort of called From the Garden of Love, things seen, unseen. Messages from the bifurcated world, world of duplicity and euphemism. Now you see it, now you don't. Speaking in double tongues, snakes writhe and hiss around the heart. What is the weirdness of religion, all sides? What double standard? I dreamed I saw St. Augustine in the Nilo-Saharan regions at the end of the pluvials, the northern glacials. A religion of sun worship developed. Perhaps in Abyssinia, as the land became desiccated, the sun was correctly seen as the source of all life, and in excess, the unstoppable taker of life, God, the creator with a harsh edge. The enviro truth was associated with the sun in the heaven above, and by analogy was instituted in Sun King leadership. It spread down the Nile and later into the Semitic male monotheisms, Judaism and transcendent militant Islam. It retained a predominant magic, which had to do with weather and social control. It was definitely concerned with immortality, mimicked the sun god, and devised vivid scenes of sacrifice for the transcendent Abraham. Magicians became priests in their institutionalized forms. Priests became corrupt and perverted the magic, binding with briars my joys and desires. Thugs donned the priest's mantle, yet the desert remained the central zone for potential enlightenment. Even his metaphor, hear them, the souls crying in the wilderness, a place devoid of beasts and plant life. Out of the charnel ground, the lover, a she of no small order, but poet, modest in demeanor. So many have died, rests the case here, one moonlit night shall be released. Shall be released. And this is called Strange Light in the Lodge, from kind of off an account by others from a performance of Artaud's in Paris. It's actually part of this libretto I wrote for a opera called, it's a rock opera called Black Lodge. Originally it was Artaud in the Black Lodge, and they took Artaud off because they were worried nobody would know who that was. Anyway, it's opening at, premiering at Opera Philadelphia, October 1st and 2nd. So curious how that will work. Strange light in the lodge, repository of dark memory, spectral gesture. In 1933, Artaud performed an enactment of the theater and its plague. Body as future memory, inscription, keeper, spectacle for the masses. His face was lean. The visionary's thrust to be incomprehensible, ensorcelled, plague everywhere, death in the street, in garrets, back alleys, in carts of doom, in Bardo, the edges between life and death. His hands were trembling, eyes rolling into the back of his head, looking inward, transported to an excruciating intensity. Artaud in the Black Lodge, cave of flickering shadows, sequester and death. What doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? That we all see demon plague take hold, hearts break, fear turns us away. Us too, could that be every one of us too, anthropo? Seeing we lose control. How close to dark anomalia to avoid the abyss? Oh, generative cyclic flow and grind of meat wheel, that we decompose, lose breath, and still sing Artaud's apotheosis. Palpable dark spirit babble in the theatrical light, center stage, shape-shifting show of demons, all the alchemical nuances, glass shatters, people in panic as he gasps, afraid of their own demise, jeering and hissing. La peste, they called out. La peste, as it sweeps the land, a crux in your mirror. La peste, la peste. The poet summoned and summoned and summoning, and poet dwell in his and your own gut and burning throat. La peste. And there was one other here, let's see. This is just a little ditty. Row, 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 row your boat. Rage strike through, moan, mother, palpable, mom, essence, all disparities converge and conspire, tremble in through moan, mother moan, and beyond this sphere here now, no one pays. How many young life lost years stunted, America, wrecker, America, tainted wrecker. What is allegory of struggle? Tell us, spirit of one dead come down through moan of mother. On the ray trajectory, bullet of a star, turn it round on the moan. Now alchemy of streets everywhere, vocalize the cause. Row, 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 and in sanctums of power remind them, row. What does not change is will to change. Moan away forward, row, see light lost. I spark again in way forward, must. And there was one little, just a few lines from this Hafiz. I was doing a little divination with a friend, Ghazal Musadek, done around divination through Hafiz during the solstice period. Hafiz, take picture of it, Sufi turn, VASL unity to become one with oneself against appropriation. Take the swerve another way, perishing toward God. And you will be rejections fired at you before they come at you, perishing towards love. Modestly, really don't doubt that. Sit at feet in trance, 21st century. Take clothes off against dust. But if I were to tell the beloved, might disappear, that one. Advocacy of the apotropaic magic of birdsong, of crystal ringing and shattering shield, trance and fight back. Medicine come at you, kiss or take a life, bites at you, moon that turned crimson, all the nations witness, solstice laborers. Is this an experiment for a new poetry city? How do you start our city? With what? Are we even a world yet? Watch, sky, city, tremble, be careful. The tassel you held that she wore centuries ago can still gesture round your neck. Hafiz, laughing, candle going out, stepping outside, many dying, lesson in all the stars. See, mated, wanting company, cold mountain light. Mine, look at us in star haze, and earlier on bed of jade, supplemental to survive, and vibration is a mystic 14, a shamed 7, an inebriated 11, a spectral 19, and going on to leap the mountain. You could be a TEF 4, a tier 4, a tier 6 with lift 1, 3, 1, 5. Love will tell the myth every time. Do you really want rivers of blood to come? Of me, of you, tongue and language? Ordinary way to remember becoming dust. If I look at my beloved's face, it is to wish I write this poem as new amulet. Last time keeps what names never negative in the force field and join the planet's prediction. Safa Fati at Sinai, the picture she sent of Jove and Saturnus, Ghazal in London, her golden text etched in furrows that recently traversed brain roads, flurries of it, a lesson of sorrow, be silent, concentrate, but told my eye to look at the beloved a long time. I always cry blood, show inner 12, outer 21. I told my eyes, do this at 77, wine and pomegranates, the poem of continuum. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Anne, so much. The poem of continuum. It's incredible. I'm really honored to introduce Rachelle next, Rachelle Rahmé, who gathered everybody, all the poets today, which is a lot of work. So thank you again for that. In Rochelle's poem, Topiary, she writes, communication problematizes essence. We all know what something is really before we have to say. And I think that's really it. Rachelle Rahmé is a Lebanese-American poet and independent scholar. She is the author of Count Thereof Upon the Other's Limbs from 72 Press and 2 chapbooks, most recently Bataille's Eggs. Her translations of George Bataille were published as 27 Poems on Death by Oblek Editions in 2021. which I think are maybe all sold out. So you're getting it here. And her poems have appeared in the Brooklyn Rail and Threefold, among many others. I'm really lucky to have you, Rochelle. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And oh, what a send-off with Will and Anne. Those were so beautiful. Oh, wow, the readings. I'm going to start with several short poems, and then do a selection from a manuscript I've been working on. So this one's called Anything. The streamlet vapors are dead to rot enthusiasm. My son, my liege, madame, not to waste night, day, and time with tedious limbs and flourishes, I will be brief. Are you a wingman? I am an anything man. This one is called Cymbeline. I don't really try, it's just that I am, and I hope even better to be mindful about you. This is what I mean when I say it is rare. I don't know how useful it is to equate media with altered states. The edges curl and control over their questions, because baby, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's even better. This one's called Redshift for Allah. Where do you go, Father, when you disappear for years? Where do you go when you sweat, when you shake? Was my introversion gained in the early loss of my breath and beat, in the hands of the crowd, in their farce, in their force? Where were you, getting high while I die? Okay. This is the excerpt from the manuscript I've been working on called Descent of Winter, after Williams. This is dated October 1st. So we're going ahead in time and back in time at the same time. Okay, October 1st. Xylander, collector of Empedocles fragments in the late Renaissance, then in Paris, 1573. Stephanus is Poetarum Philosophorum Fragmenta turned 20th century contra, Eleatic on being, Heraclitan on becoming. The philosophy in the middle, the promise and the potency of the universe, so to speak, to vision which seems to transcend time. The philosophy of on nature may be considered a union, the Eleatic doctrine of being and that of Heraclitic becoming, albeit the Sicilian is more the natural scientist than the dialectician, more the Spencer than the Hegel of his time. With Parmenides, he denies that the ought can come from or return to the not. With Heraclitus, he affirms the principle of development. There is no real creation or annihilation in this universal round of things, but an eternal mixing and unmixing due to two eternal powers, Philotes and Nikos, of one world stuff. In its sum, unalterable and eternal, there is something in the conception to suggest a later times chemistry to the water of Thales, the air of Anaximander, and the fire of Heraclitus. He adds earth and declares them as all alike primeval, the promise and the potency of the universal fourfold root of all things. These are the celebrated four elements of later philosophy and magic. In the beginning, if we may so speak of a vision which seems to transcend time, these four, held together by the uniting bond of love, rested, each separated and unmixed, beside one another in the shape of a perfect sphere, which by the entrance of hate was gradually broken up to develop at last into the world and the individual thing, knit in all forms and wonderful to see. Encompassed the rest in the form of a globe, or as some maintain of an egg, Arnold's Empedoclean Aetna, leaping into a breath for nothing, a wafting in the god, a wind, Rilke number 3. October 2nd. God creates integers, all else is the work of man. Failure is never simple. October 3rd. When my poem in my blood so you too course and remind this one of something until present unknown. I do not say equally perplexing, I do not say but is. It's more than that in practice, and if we learn to speak differently. Where you never changed, and now there's no further measure than what I have the project approach to desert. Another Sunday and chance to dull all song fields that thoughts process, mon cool et collé, artist born and taught to live in reverse. October 4th. In short, or as a result of that thought process, it came to be that I found autoerotics very inspiring when I rejected the discourse before it was at hand because it said to me, hold, totally, hold. October 6th, Rilke using the Rodin method, the Ashbury method, poem painting. Hold on to a thought and its structure antithetical to thought, thoughts experiencing time. October 8th. Pause in the day-long place in abyss, infinite regress. I pass again now and later. I will be nude, undoes me, and it's usually a room, not the finest difference. What I've stopped at day's end, shed this dress, undo the colors, is what the shy has left to her now, to her later, and shown itself tremendously a room, not a cemetery, customary for latest news to amass. October 10th. I can drive, I can travel, I can say, better not take it too seriously. The trash can, a father's book, good times, bad papers, washing up and down, they're waiting. October 11th, love from 91. There is the appearance and there is the energy within the appearance, Francis Bacon. Frank is downstairs talking. I can see him looking after that pretty girl that just passed. Change of scenery on a day so reflective of change. Seasons spare the wild sun, heat decreates. Frank's daughter, her friend, propping up church roses, generations in this vacuum. To consider the well-known painter in the room and his model who set the lights up to illuminate platform briars. Little sense of humanity there by way of conversation at the point of seeming dated. Turns off and becomes speechless, but always in the new. October 15th. Enlightenment needs faith, borrowing worth from the object, repudiates either us or human beloved through patronage alone. Even skeptical order returns to destroy it. Neither of us smuggling chance, no, nowhere is the gap so laughing, lapping, belonging together. Processional waves lap, settle the new. Even there a myth, I return in order to destroy it. Its structure in which we are in love alone in the alcove. Clone my only processional overlapping, never an error, the pristine pastime. And lastly, October 16th, sublime freedom. Judgment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. Next, let's see, we have a kind of special recording from poet Alegmir Hashmi. I'll just read his bio, which is pretty fascinating briefly. Alegmir Hashmi is said to have been born in this part of planet Earth and trained persuasively, formally and informally to stay on here. Perhaps better known as an English poet, he has been a professor of English and comparative literature, an editor of literary and scholarly journals, a scholar critic, a broadcaster, a translator, long-lapsed lay minstrel, and a weekend canoeist. Books include The Ramazan Libation from Arc, and his work has appeared widely in journals and anthologies, the latest being Wild Gods, the Ecstatic and Contemporary Poetry and Prose from New Rivers Press. We'll link to both of those in the chat. And so just bear with me a sec, I'm gonna kind of pull up these recordings. Everyone see, let's see. Oh, wait. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Sorry, give me 1 sec. I gotta. Okay, start with this one. I'm not sure why that one's muted.
The second poem I read today is an earlier poem. It's in 3 parts. The title is Epistle. She knocked her foot against a pile of stones where she thought was a pavement and broke her right toenail. Offered Band-Aid, she refused. It would heal by God, she said. The city managers laughed. Stone piles have gone up, neighborhoods gone to the dogs. I begin to respect my old shoes, even if they allow for gravel and sand inside. My socks have pituitary holes. What's left there to say about foot soles? Once I found a stone far over there, walking lakeside, washed in the round, with red veins of the eyes that fell upon it. It sits here on the bookshelf by the window, roiling the view. Space is cabled, held aloft by pylons. Early morning sun is the first corner I turn. As usual, the horizon is perpendicular. 2. She just passed through here, a meteor burning bright in the emptiness where breathing time is a happening, a period. It's those wars out there she sent her father and now her son to, which she knows nothing about. It's those wars in here her mother and her young daughter are always hoping and fearing for news. Every sunrise their questions and long night lights fizzle out. The streets were there or not there. Maybe the trees were there or not there. This town only built blind alleys. Their signposts had pointers. They repeated their names over and over, led nowhere. Oh, but what am I to make of her smile and wide-eyed staring into the sun? 3. Spare me the next one, love. I won't reply in words, lines, dots, out of inkjet paper, a white ant virus gnawing at my Word doc files that even makes a line straight as your fine hair frizz. Real mutt dunking in jello shots. Besides, this place is cold as the devil's decree for gnomes that run the everyday machine, cut me off from the gas meter, regular electricity, bread I could toast myself, and don't think they're fighting World War II, saving anybody anything, just mocking the act with their doubles galore. I have watched that scene for a long time. Now the barn owl's gone to rest. Why do you sit here alone by the cold hearth? Aren't you tired? When I said, "Why, you don't know me?" I'm still awake at this hour because I am your conscience, or its unseen shadow, draped in bleeding rags of the new century, and heard this under hot breath. You are impossible, eh? We'll kill you. So I expect no more answer either.
Let me try this other one more time. And I should say the painting that was shown was Robert Delaney's Simultaneous Windows. Let's see, how about let's switch over to John, and then maybe we can end with that last one. Giving me some issues, but so John Coletti, thanks for being here. He is the author of Deep Code from City Lights, Mom Halo from Rust Buckle Books, Same Enemy Rainbow from Fewer and Further, and Physical Kind from Yo-Yo Labs, all amazing titles and a poem in itself. With Anselm Berrigan, he is the author of the limited edition Skasers from Flowers and Cream. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, John. Thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn, and thank you, Rochelle, so much for putting this together. This has been incredible. I hope my internet connection is stable. Are you with me?
Yeah, we're with you. Or now you're frozen.
Can you hear me? My internet connection seems a little unstable.
All right, now I think it's good.
Okay, I'll start then. Thanks again. Cypress and cactus. When I'm around you, the stars can't see. I don't love in the ocean. I love in the hedge hair and want to become small. Off and on. What moon is May 17? Dark, the night meters. Clouds like abscesses. Away, cover it. That poetry is psychic is no new concept, though it continues to surprise me. March 26th, 2021. Almost wrote my birth year as the year of today, with the consecrating oil thick on my temple cheeks, the sign flat on the road near the pivot towards options or clover. The smell of false bayonets spring upon the forearm and a 5-interview gauntlet chirping to see myself a minute here on the other side. Heart polishers of the wind shut the door from the inside, thrush. The silver card from Albany falls without a single snowflake to the floor. I've stopped touching the floor, but keep riding on soap. Shall I take the binder walking, the Suburban to the power wash? Endings and titles. You can have a door without 2 knobs. It just won't lock. I love this tree. I'm into locks. My mind's been in the same place mostly. Bluebells, common dandelions, a lavender roulette chip, caffeine eyes, cartoonish XXL Kool-Aid, cherry purple Ryman cap, copters scotched around every home stocking keyhole, jet skis blowing against sharp edges of bleached paper, missing being missed and other false positives, trains, molars, stimulant panic beats, while young every breath, no longer useful. I was pulled out from counting rituals, screech. This possum leaps wheels this isn't 13 living in the garage for years with a hand-me-down waterbed, a velvet comforter Then parents' friends' couches gnawing diagonally across extra archway. I let absorb simple joy, longing for a quiet debate partner. They cheer on like outside my feet, twisted in sheets, the call for light. Behind Lowe's somber cello, hot blue metallic crepe paper, bringing cotton candy, understanding has its joys, though it's often overrated. Deep bouquet. I don't really think about the order of the cones. I handle the bingo drum. High knees. After May snow, this young, brilliant sycamore, I frighten the melody of its sun. Work the stalk carefully. It's Mother's Day. Count out again. Let pass, and warm water run. Soft and firm bruises, as if my heart captured all its details and methods once, uncovered what had been covered up. I want to stay and dance awkwardly, to fall alone. I miss slow dancing. Home. We only have each other and everyone else. Rental dog. To produce calm, become gray arrows on inner palms, relax and tide. Dust the psychic ghosts off your eyelids. The ways we slide away in my life, I do it privately, with an abundance of care. Brandon read his year this morning, a kind of late afternoon resurrection in Blue Hearts. I misspell catalog all the time, but Ron says both do the same work. Staring at a copper coin, this is where I was reading directly from the light bulb, packing wet sandwich into airlock, looking at my creator's nails by the fire. The time on the floor is especially pretty, a bit of mist on its lenses. Growing larger as you cross it, some dirt on your cheek, loose yellow triangles, nearer, now larger, counterclockwise, egg, nearer, now larger, loose yellow triangles, some dirt on your cheek as you cross it. Just two more. Home. But it's so early yet, where you are. And tomorrow is Saturday. I'm happy we can do this. This is immaculate and radical. A gentle touch. Anger is just a fold in water, where reason descends into the structure of duck shit and sand. Fear the objects beneath, where complex reality buries itself and has no room for beauty, which is sick and present. Yours is not predictable. We are all it, and tag is permanent and difficult. Thanks.
Thank you so much, John. I'm glad you read that last one. It's really great. All right, I've pulled up Alegmir once more, so let's give this a go to close with here. This way.
Hello. I'm reading two poems for the Brooklyn Rail. The first sprang from a longer poem, a sequence of sonnets that I finished writing by the end of March 2020. It's called The Decree. You are lucky you have your masks, nearly all your personal protective equipment, and you have your Instructions. The virus protocol is a complete code of life. Use the coronavirus app on your expletive smartphone before it puckers. Value these precious minutes of the lifetime sim now ululating for the occasion. Of course, you will wash your hands ever, but you will not wash your hands off the world entirely. Every one of you is a unique touch-me-not. Reports agree the virus, a novel terrorist, is omnipresent. Nothing's out of its reach, mineral or vegetable, animal or human. Caught halfway casting off its uniform, it seemed to escape from one spot, then from another, leaving numbers and ghost towns gasping for breath. Yet it has stayed. For this we have no prophylactics, only sticky prefabs, porous border walls. Touching folks is lethal. Sanitize 24/7 and keep your sanity. See no one, shake no hands, ask no one to coffee. Dating is out, though chatting via video link is okay. And for G7 parties, kosher. Love without touching is chemically pure, neat, plateau. Weddings are banned. Funerals are such a lazy dispatch. Why stand on ceremony for bodies on the redundancy list? To all ends and purposes, online, you will be homeschooled. In your pueblos and cramped tenements, you have you and your rota fix to work and play in splendid isolation, your new society. Stay within your national bubble. Let no one puncture it. If you want to know the weather, check the stock market chart. If you have other ideas, it's past prayer time. Beware all doors, save makeshift hospitals and morgues, all possible doors, outlets, exits, places of worship, parks, colleges have wired airlocks. Feel socked in? Turn on your service laptop, full screen, and take a good look at how the world was. See how the purple and yellow crocuses spread wild in the city's main squares, given the chance. No wallpaper. It's the name of the fragrance in real time. In here, true angels in space suits will feed you manna salva. The state's done up. You will be watered round the clock with the choicest drinks. The houris will nurse and please you, even if all the fine perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten their smelly big feet. You will activate or rest in their caring celestial arms, and in good time, with their beguiling charms, they will lovingly put you to sleep.
Right. That's that. Thank you all so much for joining today. It's really an amazing reading. Thank you, Rachelle, for such a strong group. Check through the chat. There's links to everybody's work there. We're going to put a link to donate to us. And please join us next Wednesday. We have a reading curated by Connie May Concepcion Oliver. And tomorrow our NSE will be Picturing Black Girlhood, Moments of Possibility with Zoraida Lopez Diago, Lola Flash, Danielle Nolan, and Jessica Holmes. Yeah, this is really so incredible. Thank you all readers. Thank you, Rochelle, again. We'll unmute everybody. Please say hi, bye as you leave. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
running
you
things,
all so
Carol.
much.
That was incredible. Thanks.
So beautiful.
Recording is really cool.
Thank you. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you so much.
Fong, nice
Hey,
to see you.
Fong.
Thank you.
Well, yes, thank you so much. And let's talk, okay?
To talk.
Talk, yeah. Thank you, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fong.
Care, be strong.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Take
Was
care, everyone.
wonderful. Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Uh,